Hello, friends. Once again, welcome to my special, very special EDR series. We all know what is EDR. EDR is basically everyday revision. Very simple, no complicated things. I know that you've been already doing it, but still, for those who see this video by chance for the first time, I'm doing a special EDR series. See, the logic behind EDR series is you do everyday revision. What happens is all of you, all CA students are occupied in the classroom for 6 to 7 hours, traveling time, homework, many other commitments, personal level, social level, whatever. I don't want to go at length, but you don't find time for revision, and then you always have that thing that, sir, the day I will get full time now, 3 hours, 4 hours, then I'll sit and study. But then what happens? You don't get that kind of time, and slowly and steadily, what happens? Whatever you have learned earlier, no, that starts fading out of your memory. And we have one excuse that, sir, I'm not getting 3 4 hours to sit at one place and study, sir. When should I cover? So I'm there. Your professor, CA Sandeep Neve, is here. Very simple thing you have to do. You have to go through these videos 15 minutes a day. When you are traveling, you can just plug in the headphone. Yeah, instead of listening the interesting songs, you can listen to your boring professor. I know that studies are always little. Still, it is necessary, guys. 15 minutes per topic, quick revision. That's the whole idea. So don't wait for the exams to come to you and then you start looking for something. Dedicate 15 to 20 minutes for a topic. That's it. That much I want. So automatically what happens? You remain in touch of the topic, and whenever you go for a full-fledged revision, you're not going to start from a scratch. That is the whole idea. Guys, time limitation 15 to 20 minutes. Let's start. We will talk about one of the topics, that is estimation of working capital. Guys, we know if we want to run our business, we have to first invest our money in fixed assets, correct? And then we all know fixed assets cannot work on their own, so we need to invest in working capital also. And today we are going to talk about working capital, correct? Investing in fixed assets is covered separately in which topic? Investment decisions, right? So today we talk about investing in fixed assets. So how much to invest, that will depend upon how much we need. So what is working capital? We all know day-to-day funds required for day-to-day business activities, that is current assets minus current liabilities. So people, if you have to estimate working capital, very simple, estimate current assets, estimate current liabilities, deduct it. Okay, fine. People, I always told you, whole of the financial management now is futuristic. We are going to estimate for future. We are not going to calculate. We are not going to look at the past. We are going to look at the future. So we don't know the things. So we are estimating. In general, I would say any business, as we can see over here, any business would in general have stock, debtors, cash, prepaid expenses. Sir, what if something else is given in the question? We will follow that. I'm telling you in general. And any general current liabilities would include creditors and some or the other outstanding expenses. Okay. What we are going to learn in this topic? Scope of the topic. Guys, three things. Estimate the amount of working capital. Sir, topic's name is estimation of working capital, sir. That too we will do. Very true. But doing that is not only enough. No. You remember in the class what example I have given you? Timetable. Just before exam, you all prepare what? Timetable. What is that? That is the estimated usage of the time. Making timetable is very good, but what is the next thing that you need to do, people? You also need to implement that. That's what I'm talking about. See, estimate the amount of working capital. What will you do after estimation, people? You need to arrange that money. You have to finance your working capital. So if you want to approach a bank, along with the amount, you should also know the time that for which you need the money. You remember that I had told you in the class that we go to the bank, tell them, hey, hello, we know how to estimate working capital. I want 5 lakh rupees loan. Bank manager asks you, sir, duration. But that Sandeep sir has not taught. You first give the loan, then I will see the duration. Are Baba, who will give you loan like that? You should know the amount, also you should know the duration also. Isn't it? Both things are simultaneously required. So guys, the topic's name is estimation of working capital, in which what we will learn? We will learn number one, to estimate the amount of working capital. Number two, the duration for which we need the loan. And number three, the ways of financing the working capital. This is what we have to study. Okay, fine. So let's talk about the first part, that is estimation of working capital. And people have always told you, when you want to estimate something, you need some base. Even when you want to travel to some unknown location, even if it's a known location, you open Google Map and check how much time is required. Why you open the Google Map? Because probably that tells you an idea, an estimate, okay, what tentative time is required. Important? Yes, it is. That's what we are going to do. Okay, so we do need some base. Yeah, and then there are approaches of estimation, right? Some people are very aggressive, they follow. Some people are very aggressive, they follow cash cost basis. Some people are very conservative, they follow which basis? Total basis. You remember the example that we are taking, that you open a Google Map, you see in the map, okay, from place A to place B, 40 minutes. Sir, I'll leave 50 minutes before, sir, because map is showing me 40 minutes. Somebody would be like, sir, it's okay, sir, I will leave 30 minutes before, and I'll like zoom, 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 zoom. I'll go very fast. Who's right, who's wrong? Everybody is right according to their own approach. So here we have two approaches. What is that, people? Total basis, following which? Conservatism. Cash cost basis, following what? Aggressive behavior. Okay. So people, we had defined few estimates, right? That if I talk about a component and then what basis is to be used. For total basis, raw material stock is based on what? Raw material consumed, right? How much stock of raw material I should keep would depend upon how much I consume. The more I consume, the more stock I need. The less I consume, the less stock I need. Correct, people? Okay. Work in progress, you know what it is. Now that we are into the EDR part, we have discussed this all at length in the class. If question is silent, what do we say? Raw material 100%, wages 50%, overheads 50%. Why? Still, those who attend this directly, those who have not attended my lectures, a quick thing that, see, in the world, if you see around also, there will be at least hundreds of products around you. Each product has a different production cycle and a different production pattern. A particular commodity may need a lot of raw material initially, less of, see, remember we had taken an example of painter, a person who paints walls at home, and a painter like MF Hussain, who has created what I can say, masterpieces which generations see and they are happy. Imagine a person who paints our walls. He's not an art, he also has an art, but the art these commercial artists follow is amazing. So a person who does a painting job at my home, his more money goes in what? In material, less money goes in wages. But a person who makes up paintings, okay, his more amount is invested in the wages, and less amount would be invested uh, in the raw material. A painting which is sold for 1 crore doesn't mean that it has 50 lakh of raw material. No ways. A very good canvas and few good colors is investment in materials, maybe lakh rupees or maybe max to max 2 lakh rupees. Rest all is all about your skills. So guys, every production process in the world is different. None of them is same. So question should tell you that how much raw material, how much wages and how much overheads are to be arranged in the beginning. If they don't tell, we follow this. Right? Okay. Finished goods stock will depend upon cost of production. Debtors will depend upon credit sales. Creditors will depend upon credit purchases. Outstanding expenses will depend upon amount of expenses. What happens in cash cost, to remember? Wherever possible, we'll deduct what? We'll deduct the net profit. Huh? But wherever possible, and not in every amount. If it is included, then we deduct. So what we deduct? We deduct net profit to bring the things at cost, and then we deduct depreciation. Depreciation is a representative of non-cash items. So from cash cost, if I deduct from the costs, first from credit sales, I deducted net profit. So I reached on cost. And from the cost, when I deduct depreciation, I reach on cash cost. That's why the method's name is also what? Cash cost. Okay. Yeah. And remember these points, people. We will follow cash cost. If the question doesn't specify, you have to give a note. Huh? People, you have to give a note. If the question is silent, which method to follow? Follow cash cost and give a note that alternatively, in the absence of information, we have followed cash cost. Alternatively, what we can do? We can also follow total basis. Right, people? Okay. Important points. Right. As I always tell you, people, estimation is which activity? Future oriented. No. So what we always assume, all activities are spread evenly throughout the year. So if the annual sale is 12 lakh, then the monthly sale is 1 lakh. People like, sir, but in real life it is not possible. So exactly, nobody denies that real life it is not possible. It's all about making an estimate. People, you have done it. Don't challenge this. You have done it on yourself also. When your exam is some few days away, say for example 60 days away, you have 10 subjects to cover, then you do like this. Okay, 60 days, 10 subject. Oh, so per subject 6 days. Okay, I should cover the first 6 days. You do nothing. What you do is different and how you plan is different. So okay, whenever we are planning for future, we assume that all activities are spread evenly throughout the year. You remember the other example which I had given you, that a patient goes to the doctor. Patient is, the person is not well, maybe suffering from some lifestyle disease like blood pressure, diabetes. What is the doctor's first advice? That you daily walk 5 kilometers. Doctor doesn't tell you that you first day you walk 15 kilometers, 2 days you rest. No, 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 no. Daily walk 5 kilometers. Whether you walk or not is a different thing. That's the same way. All sales and purchases are assumed to be on credit. Then we have a raw material consumed formula. And you remember, no, what if nothing is given? We always assume opening is equal to closing. So RMC will become equal to purchase. But people, this will not apply to a newly formed company, right? Same applies for COGS as well. Okay. Let's talk about duration or working capital operating cycle. See, we start investing in working capital right from purchasing what? Raw material. The invested amount comes back to us when we receive cash from debtors. So it's a huge time gap between. Thus, the time gap between the first purchase of raw material and collection from debtors is what? Duration, which we need to, for which we need to invest our working capital. Very simple, people. So the production cycle starts from buying the raw material. So first you take raw material holding period, then you add up work in progress conversion period, then you add up finished goods holding period, then you add up debtors collection period. That makes it to gross duration. And then what? Creditors payment period. That makes it to net duration. Right? See, I'm assuming that you have solved a few questions. So have I have explained you all these formulas? Remember, refer any question of estimation of working capital amount part, and just check this, that what we do is we take the raw material consumed. Question tells us 2 months holding period, so we say okay into 2 by 12, and that gives us raw material stock. Right now we are in search of raw material holding period, so it's basic bottom us, people. Keep the raw material holding period left hand side, shift everything that side. What will happen? Raw material stock upon the raw material consumed into 1250 to 365. We can use the same logic and create all other formula which is already given to you in the notes. Right, people? Okay. Then comes the financing of working capital. Before we proceed for financing of working capital, we should know the classification. On the basis of concept, it is gross working capital and net working capital, people. What is gross working capital? Very simple. Only the total of current assets. Correct? And what is net working capital? It is current assets minus what? Current liabilities. Correct, people? Okay. On the basis of time, permanent working capital and temporary working capital, people. You remember, this is what we had discussed in the class by drawing an example of a business. A person wants to start a, those who have attended will remember, ice cream shop, correct? Buying a shop, fixed asset. Putting a furniture, hey, with all demo I have told you in the class, right now that demo will not come here, please guys. Basically, that image should get created in your mind, right? So, buying a shop, fixed asset. Buying a furniture, fixed asset. What will you sell? Where is the ice cream? You have to buy the ice cream and keep that also. And see, you have to buy that in anticipation. Those who are hearing for the first time, I'm just quickly summarizing that buying a shop is a fixed asset. Buying a furniture is also a fixed asset. But inside that furniture, inside that shop, in that fridge, you keep that ice cream in anticipation of people who will buy from you. And you have to always keep that stock. Sir, what if it gets sold? Replenish. So that is what is permanent working capital. People, when it will release, now, it will release only when you decide to close down your business. And what is temporary working capital? You bring 1 lakh rupees of ice cream, always keep it in the shop in anticipation of demand. When there is a summer vacation, when there is a Diwali vacation, when there are some festivals, the demand for ice cream will be more. So you bring something more than that. That is what is temporary working capital. Okay. Approaches to finance we have discussed. There are three: conservative, moderate, and aggressive. Conservative fellow, whatever type of working capital, he'll always go with long term. Moderate, long term for permanent, short term for temporary, and aggressive fellow, short term for temporary. Here also he will try to play some jugaad in permanent working capital, some amount by long term, some amount by short term. right? This is what people we have discussed. Other than this, we have discussed a very basic concept of remember that Tandon Committee, MPBF, maximum permissible bank finance. Correct, people? Yeah, how many approaches are there? Three approaches are there, right? Right. The very first approach is what? 75% inside the bracket C minus CL. So 75% of working capital. What is second approach? 75% of current assets in one bracket minus current liability separately. And what is the third approach? 75% of inside the bracket CA minus core CA. Current assets minus core current assets, right? 75% of all that. From that, we will deduct the current liabilities. Hope you remember, people, right? So this was a quick revision of the topic. Now I expect that you read this, you revise this, and then obviously you go through the questions. So the things would be quickly remembered by you. And as I always tell you, please spread the word with your friends. Those who are not seen this, tell them that okay, you should do this quick revision. Sir is there for us. He's devising the basic theory parts quickly, the whole concept get refreshed, people, and then the other revision solving the sums makes sense. Correct? So please do share with your friends. Thank you so much. See you in the next quick EDRs. Okay.